Welcome to Discovering. We're back on Mackinac Island, this time for a look at some UP artwork destined for a competition in Lower Michigan.
It's called Crossing the Straits, and it's a project where we are working with UP artists all over the peninsula.
Sit back, put your feet up and relax. It's Monday night and time for Discovering.
The secret streams that flow beneath the cliffs of colored stone. Forest thick and healthy with birch and pine and oak. Surrounded by the greatest lakes this world has ever known. The black bear's awesome presence as he roams the hills and fields. Call of the timber wolf, the loon's lonesome trill. The eagle soaring high above, the trout lies deep and still. These are what I treasure, the only way I measure feelings that I have for this fine land. There is so much to discover when you're a long-time lover of northern Michigan.
We once again found ourselves on Mackinac Island. This time it was for art. The UP is host to a wide variety of artists and artwork of all kinds. Some of that artwork is spending some time on display on Mackinac Island on its way to Grand Rapids for the annual ArtPrize competition. ArtPrize is an international art competition which attracts over 500,000 visitors, making it the most attended public art event in the world in 2014 and 15. In 2017, ArtPrize featured artists from 42 states and 47 countries. More than $500,000 in prizes are awarded each year, which include a $200,000 prize awarded entirely by public vote and another $200,000 prize awarded by a jury of art experts. We stopped in at Mission Point Resort on the island for a look at some of the UP artwork, which will be featured in that competition.
Hi, welcome to Crossing the Straits. This is a regional arts project. It's been facilitated by the Boniface Art Center in Escanaba, Michigan, and Mackinac Arts Council on Mackinac Island, where we are now. And it's called Crossing the Straits, and it's a project where we are working with UP artists all over the peninsula. The Boniface Art Center has been facilitating the UP Arts and Cultural Alliance. And again, there are people around the Upper Peninsula who are working to promote UP artists. We know that by promoting UP artists, we are building cultural tourism. And we do that with friends in the tourist industry. A leader, of course, in the Upper Peninsula is UP Travel and Recreation Association, who knows that one of the top reasons for people traveling is the arts and culture and the history. Bringing artists here to Mackinac Island is just one way we can support UP artists and keep them producing new work. We are really excited this year with the work that Mackinac Arts Council has done by placing artwork throughout Mackinac Island.
So the Mackinac Arts Council is a local arts agency, arts advocacy organization, so we work to help promote local artists and create educational opportunities for the residents here on Mackinac Island. And so part of our initiative has been to bring in regional artists from all over the Upper Peninsula to just help create a more exciting and enriching arts and culture scene here on the island. So this project has been perfect for that, to get artists from all over the UP here on the island, and all the tourists and locals and everybody on Mackinac can experience this amazing array of artistic projects that are going to be an ArtPrize.
So we have 8 venues across the downtown district. It really has engaged the local community here on Mackinac Island, and it gets people walking through. The nugget of the exhibit is here at Mission Point in their Center for the Arts. We're calling the exhibit Crossing the Straits because that is a really important job that not only the arts community has to do, but those people in tourism and in business. It is a preview to the international competition ArtPrize.
So ArtPrize is an annual competition for artists around the U.S. That display their art around Grand Rapids, the city, and the public and different organizations vote on them. There's hundreds of artists, a lot of venue participation, and it's a 2-week time span. Preview week starts September 12th, but the actual event itself is September 19th, where all the artists will be on display. It is a national competition, so we're hosting this event Venue Tower Apartments right in downtown Grand Rapids. And one thing that we noticed last year was that there wasn't the visibility of Michigan artists that I anticipated, so it was actually a lot of out-of-state artists. And Jolie over at ArtPrize recommended this collection, Crossing the Straits, to us, mostly because of the quality and they know our passion behind Michigan and Michigan artists. We have a 2.5-story grand foyer that is a blank canvas for all this beautiful art to be displayed.
We're part of an enterprising front for the UP, and we're excited to be there. The exhibit here on the island will be up until September 7th, and then we take all of this work, it's bound now for ArtPrize in Grand Rapids. Our artists are professional artists like Kathleen Conover, who shows across the country and internationally. Also Brian Kakis, who shows internationally.
All right, well, I'm Associate Professor of Ceramics at the School of Art and Design at Northern Michigan University, and we teach everything from functional pottery to abstract expressionistic sculpture to figurative works. This work deals with a lot of the material science that I'm teaching in the courses. Student learning about the periodic table, what we're surrounded by in this world and what makes up these things. Each material out there, literally dug up from the ground, has different applications to color, texture, relates to the scale of work, its functionality. And so we start there looking at materials and then start attaching intentions to it. So this piece is, it doesn't look anything like the state of Michigan or the Upper Peninsula, but it's everything from the physical structure, the molecular structure of it, down to the surface is 100% UP. The clay is all locally harvested off of the banks of the Chocolate River. That's processed by removing the organic materials and turning it into a usable clay body. From there, the colors, the blacks are manganese and iron that are coming just like from some of the regional mines. And a lot of these other colors are coming from the National Lakeshore, from some private residences that are allowing me to dig and process things like manganese, titanium, copper, cobalt. And so I'm taking those materials, breaking those down, and processing those into my glaze material to be painting on the surfaces. The next step of that is putting those materials into a volatile atmosphere called soda firing. And that soda firing is adding sodium, which interacts with the hydrogen molecules and the carbon molecules from the gases, and they're allowing new colors to form on the pieces depending on a hot and cold part of the flame. Those are the hot, there's the cold. Again, right here we've got a hot pocket, so that teal, which again looking just like some of the shores and the water on the coastlines of the Lake Superior, moving into some of the colder spots where we have different crystalline structure that's growing, and then it's pulling out some of the unique little characteristics of these raw materials.
This is our first year in a student initiative bringing collegiate students to an international competition like ArtPrize. So Finlandia University has worked with us.
Well, we're really excited to have some of our students, well, our alums, because they just graduated in May, be here and be part of the journey down to ArtPrize. It's really wonderful to be able to give them an opportunity to have international exposure right from our program. So we're really proud of them and very excited. We have 3 students that are coming down: Mark Zeminski, William Thompson, and Levi Granis. This work is the work of Mark Zeminski. He graduated this year with his degree actually in graphic design. This is actually a program that he designed for artificial intelligence with the computer. So these start with photographs that he takes, but then he puts them through filters so that the computer either spits them out as a Renaissance Leonardo da Vinci kind of painting or print, or then a pop art 1960s Roy Lichtenstein kind of print. So right behind me here is Tequamanon Falls, the Renaissance type, and then the pop art type.
We have artists in 3 dimensions and flat work.
So this is the work of Levi Granis. He also graduated at the end of April, beginning of May this year with his degree in intermedia. So intermedia is a degree where you combine video, sculpture, 2D, 3D work. It's really kind of a multidisciplinary kind of thing. So he's created a 3-dimensional hologram. The entire piece focuses on the idea of connection or no connection in the age of iPhones and electronic. So it really is about human connection, even though filtered through something that is kind of completely cold and hard.
So I'm Levi Granis, and this work is a hologram that I built. I built it while I was going to school at Finlandia's International School of Art and Design, and it's a hologram talking about modern communication, more connected than ever, yet feeling cut off and isolated, and using the modern media of a hologram I felt was the best way to do that. And since I work with video anyway, it just seemed like a natural fit.
Marley is a lion, a full-size lion. He is my first sculpture. He came as an inspiration from another project I did for a show I entered at the Boniface Art Center in Escanaba. I worked on him over 9 months, and he's basically made of foam covered with fabric. I am a fabric artist. I work a lot in fabric. I absolutely love fabric. I love the feel of it, the textures and the patterns. There is just so much. I do attend a lot of quilt shows because I am also a professional long-arm quilter, and I also did costumes for theater for 12 years. It took a lot longer than I thought to put all that fabric because I cut them all into little triangles first and then glued them on individually over the whole body. So the tubes are all made individually. There's over 5,000 tubes that make up that mane. It became a lot bigger project than I thought, but he was really a joy to make, and he's been a real joy to share, and kids absolutely love him. So he does have a little following. That's the story of Marley.
Northern Michigan University has worked with us. We have those students for the first time as they're entering a new career, really launching into a wonderful opportunity to show their work. And we are really happy to have these artists represent the UP as a distinct arts and culture region.
So this is the work of William Thompson. He also recently graduated from our ceramics program. These are referred to as manifest pottery, the title of this series of work, and it relates to different cultures and how America's idea of manifest destiny affected those cultures. The pieces that are here in the show today are a piece related to the Chinese culture, and then he has also a one related to the African culture. So the pots are done in the style of that culture, but then as you zoom into the pots and look at the decal work closely, you can see, for instance, in this one, things related to the Chinese Exclusion Act in the 1800s and different ways that we discriminated against Chinese immigrants as they were coming in and building the railroads and stuff for us. This starts out looking like a Ming vase from the 1800s. As you get closer to it, you start to see the kind of atrocities that are in the smaller imagery.
We have, local artists like Carol Irving, who's been weaving for years now and is just now really launching her artist career.
This will be my 4th year at ArtPrize. Last year I had 3 of my endangered wildflowers there, and this year I've been working hard and I have all 12 panels.
I had the opportunity to visit with Carol in her studio in Escanaba.
I'm standing beside one of my hand-woven panels. This one is called Lakeside Daisy. I've been weaving since I was in high school. I have a degree in botany. I thought it'd be a great idea to incorporate those two things. I narrowed down my focus and thought I would focus on endangered wildflowers. Each one took me about a month to research and then design it and then weave it. And part of my designing is done on the computer. This is the print-off that comes from the software that I use. The process all starts right here, and this is my warping board. Each peg is exactly a yard. Usually for my big rug loom, I will put on at least 20 yards at a time. This loom is already threaded and ready to go. That warping board and all those warps are now threaded through these heddles. Each one of these frames are called harnesses, so the harnesses carry the heddles, and every warp thread has to go through one of those heddles. They then pass up and over and get wound onto this back beam. So the one I'm working on right now is Pitcher's Thistle. This is the printout from the computer. And every square on here is a square on the actual project. I'm always weaving with two shuttles, usually a light and a dark color. And so I send the shuttle through, bead in, then the dark shuttle goes. It's a repeat of 4. These wall hangings or rugs are very durable. I make them as if you were going to put them on the floor and walk on them and treat them as a rug. Each 3x5 piece has approximately 10 pounds of yarn in them. They're about a ½ an inch thick, maybe a little more. While it's still on the loom, I do something that's called twining. It holds all the work in place. What I end up with is a little tassel, and you end up with this very decorative area that's keeping all the work contained and in place. Every piece comes off the loom. I do what's called 2 rows of Damascus knots. Then I can come and do my braiding. The braiding consists of 3 groups of 4 warp threads. It's just a standard braid. I take one end and I do something that's called whipping. And you can see the finish whip on the one before it. And then I take a needle, run it through that whipping, and I pull it really tight. And then what I do is I put a spot of glue right there. Just a little bit more of security or insurance. What you see on one side is exactly opposite as the other. In this case, this is the dark side. I put it on the floor, I can hang it up.
So this is my piece. It's called Great Lakes, G-R-A-T-E. And it's the sound of a car going over the grate on the Mackinac Bridge. It makes that kind of tone that kind of rings in your ears when you go over it. And I recorded that, and then I mapped it onto a piano keyboard so you can play a song with the bridge tone.
I'm from the shores of Lake Superior, north of Ironwood, Michigan. I have a background in music, and I've been painting in watercolor for a little over 40 years. I've been doing rocks and agate paintings for a long time, and this year I decided that it was time to express myself with colors and shapes and music. So Queen of the Night is based on the aria from the Magic Flute, and that's what these pieces are about.
Some of the things that we're working on for the future of our program at Finlandia University, the Art and Design School, we're working on a graphic design retreat in 2020 with some people from Europe and New York City coming out. And we're also in the process of working on a 2+2 articulation agreement with Beihai University of Art and Design in Beihai, China, that we're going to be hopefully doing some student and teacher exchange. When Beihai University came to America, they went to about 5 different schools across the United States and chose Finlandia's Art and Design School to work with. They're an amazing school with a program very similar to ours, and they have about 10,400 students, much more than we could ever handle at Finlandia, but we're very excited to work with them and to be able to offer some new opportunities for our students and faculty.
We've had a wonderful run at the Boniface Art Center. We have 25 years of working with artists across the UP. And in that time, we've had a regional competition. In that time, we have worked with artists from the Copper Country to the Sioux, all the way from Iron Mountain to Mackinac Island. So this was a perfect preliminary to working with gathering UP artists for an international competition.
Tens of thousands of people that come to the city of Grand Rapids over this 2-week time span. It's very heavily trafficked. A lot of the grouped pieces will get a ton of visibility. So you will be right in the downtown central business district for this collection. There will be street visibility, and it's a lot of the walking paths. So tens of thousands of people will get to see our art. As of this year, because of the interest in this competition, in the national visibility it gets, the volume of submissions even crashed the website at one point. So we are getting so much traction with this that ArtPrize has decided to go every other year with the collection and competition.
Grand Rapids has been the host for ArtPrize since its inception, and this is ArtPrize 10. This is the 10th year. It is a new kind of conversation between business community and the general public with the arts community. So it's changed things up quite a bit. It's opened up doors of opportunity. It's presented challenges, and it's something that we continue to look forward to working with. So ArtPrize, our UP artists are going to be at ArtPrize from September 12th through October 7th. We'll be downtown in the hub of it all, in the heart of the ArtPrize district, in the official UP venue called the Venue Tower Building.
Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next week right here on Upper Michigan's very own Discovering.